Hey, we are live. It is 8 o'clock, 8:01 to be exact. East Chicago time, the region, the best
7:01 East
wrestling.
Chicago time.
Right.
Well, yeah, East Chicago, whatever. You guys are all weird over there.
Indiana time.
Talking about the region wrestling, the best in the state. I think I've heard they might get more state champs than weight classes, is what the region rat is saying.
The original county, Lake County.
Yes,
Yeah.
the original county. Ooh, we're gonna get hate mail from. We're not gonna be welcoming Avon anymore.
I know.
Yeah,
I'm a Marshall County homer anyway.
I was talking to my brother. I said, man, I feel like we don't have the following we used to. I feel like the county's taken over.
Yeah.
And then today I felt like, region was strong on the board. I was loving it.
Yeah, the region, it's funny how much they hate each other, but yet when it comes to, we have this many state champs and all this, they'll be friends when it comes to talking about that, but anything when it's competing, they get after each other. I don't think there's Christmas cards exchanged between many of the coaches.
It's like America. We always hate each other, but then when something happens, It brings it back really tight.
Yeah. So anyway, we got Chad Hollenball, a.k.a. Carl Hungus. He's here. He's
AKA
also
the man, the myth, the legend.
Yep, and he does have his
just laying low this year.
just laying low. We do have a Chad bobblehead. You can get these at your local gas station.
Speedway in the region, Piggly Wiggly down south.
Yes. So
my original, don't get the knockoffs.
Yes, don't go to Mexico to get them with your Folkleys. And Mike Reiser, obviously he's a region guru. Chad's been starting the preview. He said he should have it done fairly in a day or two. Hopefully by Thursday we should have almost all the previews up. I know I'm working on mine, trying to get who are your losses to, and there's a lot of them. So we're gonna start with, I better pull up the brackets. East Chicago 106, probably one of the more wide open weights. Mike, I know you've commented on it more than once that it's not as strong as it usually is in the region. Still some pretty solid guys there.
Yeah. I think I was talking to some of the guys, and sometimes you're a little bit tougher on the guys you see more. You're a little bit more critical. New sponsor, Wendy's, if you enjoy Frosties.
Yes.
But overall, like depth-wise, it's not as deep as it's been in other years. But still, a lot of tough guys. Some guys that were definitely watch list guys. Not everyone gets to see the watch list. Kind of, if you really, really want to figure out the watch list, if you go to your team page, it has all these non-ranked guys, and those are all the watch list guys.
Mm-hmm. It's a secret. You just have to scroll through 310 teams.
And I noticed there were only 3 ranked guys in the top 20 there, and they were all in the mid to low teens. So, like Mike was saying, we're a little bit maybe not as strong up at the top. I do have an undefeated kid out of Frontier.
Yeah, I'm sleeping on him. I slept on him.
What's that?
I was sleeping on him. I didn't. We got to the section. I was like, oh, this guy got 38 wins. I'm gonna leave him out of the rankings. Now I look like a chucklehead.
So also get through Vianney Diot.
He has to get through. He has to get through Trevor Coral first. Calumet alone.
Oh yes, you can't go wrong with Calumet. So let's start at 106. Do you guys want to go bracket by bracket, or just want to kind of highlight a couple of the key matches?
This one, let's just kind of at least I'll go through who I think would be the guys. I think Cruz will come out of the top quarter bracket from Maryville. I like Diaz from Wheeler in that second. Evan Light from Penn does nothing but impress me every time I see him wrestle. He doesn't it's not lights out scoring machine, but he Mike and I were talking earlier. He holds good position, doesn't make mistakes, and that serves him pretty well. And then the Hollis kid from Lowell, him and Haskins that'll be a dogfight there. Haskins has really come on. I'm just noticing the Duneland results in sectional and regional, double-digit losses, but like a lot of Portage guys, he comes on strong tournament time.
Yeah, pretty similar. I got Cruz. Huge match for Cruz at the regional. I don't know if you guys watched that live. He was losing, I want to say like 14-3 to Haskins.
Yeah.
With like 30 seconds left and put him to his back and pinned him, which in turn gave him a much better draw.
Gave Haskins a bad draw, yeah.
Yeah. I know Hollis, beat Haskins at the Al Smith. So, but that's kind of a contrast in styles there with Hollis and Haskins. Haskins really good on top and Hollis really good on his feet. I also have Diaz advancing, knocking off 43-0 Colin Regan. But Trevor Penrod's pretty good. And then Evan Light and Rodney Cardwell was an overtime match, double overtime match at the Harvest Classic early on. So I have Evan Light advancing, but all pretty good matches there. Danny Tolan also, I got Cruz over Danny Tolan. So
yeah, right. Tolan, I was looking Tolan and Cruz. It was a 1-point match at the Al Smith. Cruz won. A lot of rematches there in these so it's good to see play in a little bit of coaching, and who's gonna make the better adjustments. And Hollis beat Haskins 8-3. It looked like. I was just checking to see if those guys wrestled the Al Smith, and so pretty interesting to see that many rematches.
Yeah, I also Mike mentioned the Penrod kid from South Bend Riley, and like most of those Riley kids, he's a high risk, high reward. He'll go upper body with you, so you got to be on guard. Any guy like that can get on a roll and make a run. So that was one of my first round matches to definitely keep an eye on.
Oh yeah. How do you guys see the placers falling here?
Really kind of a grab bag for me, but I had Hollis 1, or I'm sorry, Hollis 1, Cruz 2, Diaz, or Light 3, and Diaz 4. But not going on anything, but just kind of looking at some results back and forth. A lot of nothing real strong there on any of those picks.
Yeah, kind of the same way. I think the winner of Haskins Hollis wins it.
Yeah,
I think Cruz is in the finals. How crazy is that for Wheeler? This is their 4th year that they've had wrestling.
Year, yeah.
And they can go back-to-back state qualifiers. Both Diaz brothers, but pretty impressive. There's a lot of schools that's been around a lot longer that have not had a state qualifier.
Right.
Definitely. Moving on, 113. A little bit better rankings there. I'm pretty sure Kavanaugh returning 4th place finisher or 3rd. I can't remember offhand. I'll probably get yelled at for it. He placed. I don't know.
He was 4th.
Fourth last year.
Yeah.
Got Jose Diaz, state qualifier. Undefeated also. I think that's all the state qualifiers, but how's this one looking?
This is kind of what we touched on last night. Obviously, the semi-state's a blind draw, and you don't really have the they're not always going to separate the best kids. Not that Brock Peel isn't capable of beating Jose Diaz. I'd like to see that more in the semi than Kavanaugh. So I think that opens it up for Peel. I have Peel over Moreno there, and Peel to the finals for me on the bottom. And I have over Ryan Webb. Sorry.
In the bottom, I've got the exact same. I actually have him over Stuckman. That's probably just a homer call. I've seen Stuckman the last 2 weeks. And I saw Webb at the McKee earlier in the year. Just been impressed with Wawassee's improvement. Wawasee used to be, 15, 20 years ago, one of the top 20 teams in the state. And they seem to be getting back to those type of kids. They're getting them out and wrestling hard. So I got him as a qualifier, Stuckman over Webb, and then but Peel to the finals in the bottom. Kavanaugh probably not Cruz, but not be super tested. Yeah, Diaz will probably test him, but I see it probably a 3 to 5 point win there in the top semifinal.
Yeah, I have Kavanaugh over Jacob Maldonado. Jacob got 11 losses, man, but he is scrappy. He did at the Al Smith a couple times where he was losing and came up with a big move and got a fall. I know that him and Peel went to overtime. Just kind of a tough draw for Jacob and Andres Moreno, who's had a really nice year for Lowell. But I got Kavanaugh over Peel in the finals.
Yep, same exact thing I've got. Saw that Maldonado was another one of those double-digit guys. You see them a lot from Portage and Maryville, double-digit losses, but they are peaking at the right time, and they often beat guys with low single-digit losses at the semi-state.
Oh yeah, I think, and I'm sure that's why they go out and get those big matches.
Right. Not a lot of forfeits on their schedules.
No.
No. Anyway, moving on, 120. Ooh, yeah. This is the meat and potatoes of the. I know we are talking about it for weeks, and then all of a sudden, John Anderson state qualifier drops down. You're like, holy cow, this is getting ugly. There's gonna be some state qualifier guys with state medals that are staying home. I mean, you got Trey McCartney, and Tanner Demeen first round. Both were at state last year. The winner gets Batista. Batista didn't qualify 2 years ago, did he?
No, he lost in the ticket round.
Yeah. Okay, I thought I wasn't 100%. Then you have Donovan Johnson versus Triana. And I want to say Newander, too, is pretty tough.
Yeah, he was a state qualifier at 26 last year.
Right. Okay. So, yeah. So there's 3 state qualifiers right there. And
that's just in the bottom.
Yeah, that's just in the bottom right. There's 5 state qualifiers right there. So that means only there's 3 that are going home. That middle, that one of the brackets, Alexander, Kevin Watts, Kaylin Kelly. That's actually one without a state qualifier. But
right. Kelly is ranked, and Alexander just beat Demeen, who was a top 10 kid. And I've been high on Alexander since last year from Wawasee. Like I mentioned Wawasee earlier, and he's was impressive at the regional Saturday.
Yeah, he's tough. He got 3 losses, 2 to Christian Mejia and 1 to Trevor Boyce. All Fort Wayne guys. What's going on, man?
Yeah.
Hey, Fort Wayne's tough.
I know. Hey, I heard someone say that one time.
How do you see the Anderson Pointer match, Mike? There in the quarters ticket round.
Man, that's like one of the ones. When drawing it up, I thought that was going to be that, and the Triana and Johnson matches were 2 of the ones I was really interested in. I think Anderson and Pointer really hold position well, and both are pretty good on top. I'm going to go with Colin in a tight one, maybe in overtime. But, man, that's tough for John Anderson. He really – I really thought he got robbed last year in the ticket round. I'm not one to criticize officials like that, just a little bit. But I thought that call could have went either way, obviously. Great for Adam Davis, but tough for John Anderson. And then you draw 42-1 into Colin Pointer, 30-4, who's lost there, Tyler Triana, Eli Dickens, Ty Mills, and Caden Rooks,
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I feel the difference is going to be. His Pointer's just been in even though he's a year younger, has been in more matches, battle tested. Love the way the Anderson kid wrestles. Is actually his grandma was a athletic secretary at Culver for 40 years or so. So a little family connection. But I like Pointer there. I like Alexander getting through in the second quarter bracket. And Mike has me thinking now about picking Triana, but I think the Hobart kids wrestle a lot of tough matches during the year. And I like him over Johnson. Tough draw for the Logan Sport Regional right there. And I like Demeen over Bautista in the bottom bracket.
Yeah, there's that one match that Skyler Gomez, Colin Pointer match should be pretty good. Yeah. I know Gomez is pretty solid. That's obviously Pointer's the favorite there, but Gomez is one you can't overlook, or he'll be sending you home early.
Yeah. I think you mentioned Demeen and McCartney, and don't sleep on Donovan Johnson and Zane DeVault. The DeVault kid is tough as nails. Like a lot of Plymouth kids, not going to be real flashy, but it's going to be like whole position strong, be in your face for 6 minutes. So a lot of good first round matches. Just a great bracket here.
Yeah, definitely. Don't get there late, or you're gonna miss probably the best weight class. And their state placing matches right there, first rounds.
I have it. Pointer Triano rematch. I have Kelly over Alexander. And then I have Batista qualifying off the bottom.
Nope.
Oh, interesting.
A little different.
Then who do you have in the finals? I've got Pointer and Triana in the finals.
Yeah, that's what I have also. Pointer Triana, 3 of this year. I think 10 of their whole life. So
You have Triana winning or
flip a coin. I mean, I guess whoever
Triana's won at one at regional, one at Al Smith, right?
No, they didn't wrestle at Al Smith. Pointer
first third one
at the Harvest, and Triana won at the regional, and Pointer won at the sectional.
Uh-huh.
So I'll go with Triana to even it up.
Is this a poor man's Rumpf black deal?
Not as many points. These guys they're not as
high risk,
getting it out of positions as much. These guys have more a familiarity with each other.
Right.
Nice rivalry going on with those guys.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, how nasty would this weight have been? There was a rumor that Colton Cummings might come down to 120.
Wow.
They would have just even thrown this up even more.
I think he should have. It'd been fun. He would have just been a bad draw for somebody too. Because he would have shifted
Bautista.
They would have shifted Bautista. Ooh, man.
Yeah, then it would have dropped Kelly to the third.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it would have been Kelly Pointer first round. There's no love lost there between Kelly and Pointer either. I think that's a nice rivalry going with those guys.
Yeah. For some odd reason, I don't think Portage and Crown Point are on speaking terms there.
You don't think they're exchanging Christmas cards?
No.
We were going to interview the Crown Point coach. I wanted to ask him, but we didn't get the interview.
Yeah, I'm sure that'd go over real well. So
yeah, that'd probably be my last interview.
Anyway, moving on, 126, top of the bracket, you have Colton Cummings, 2-time state champ. I got 21 matches in starting halfway through the season, which is pretty impressive. And then obviously it seems like this year the semifinals are pretty much the finals matches. You got De La Pena turning fourth place finisher. And then bottom half, Adam Davis, Reese Rodriguez, both state qualifiers. And then Cody Batrone he wasn't a state qualifier.
No. He just got 51 matches under his belt.
Right.
Battle test. Right.
I think his only loss might be to Anderson from Jeff, and I'm not sure who his other one is, but no slouches.
No. I thought he lost 2 in the same day. I don't know why I think that.
Yeah, they don't have much on track, so.
Let's see if IndianaMat did their job and got them both.
That's what I'm looking for.
Number 20 at 126 or 19. Loss for John Anderson. Ross versus Riley Rassler.
Riley Rassler. That's the War on the Wall match, right?
Yeah, War on the
Riley
Wall.
Rassler? No, I'd bet it would be Ryan Rassler. Ryan Rassler's the 26-pounder.
That's even more impressive job. Nice job.
This is one of those brackets, like Mike was saying earlier, you'd like to see Cummings and De La Pena on opposite sides because they're probably the two best guys here. But it's a strong bracket overall. The Malachi Green from Triton, I like him in that second. He wrestled Davis to a 2-0 match. Davis beat him 2-0, but he's well coached and can be frustrating to wrestle. Strong kid. And the Jeremiah Brooks in the second quarter brackets, a young freshman that strong, good on top, long, and
Whiteling. He used to be a Whiteling kid, right?
That's what you said. I think you said to me in a message. He's a sophomore, I think. So it was the.
Yeah, I think he was at Whiteland last year. He used to have a bunch of kid results coming up.
Yeah.
Move it up to the lake.
Like loving it.
So
coming up where the money's made, fellas.
But I think Cummings and De La Pena are definitely a cut above there in the top bracket, and I'll be honest, Colton's probably a little bit cut above De La Pena. So hopefully his conditioning is up where it needs to be for another state title run.
Yeah, I actually had Aaron Castillas ahead of Malachi Green there.
Yeah.
I haven't seen him a lot. I know he beat the Western kid that was pretty good. I thought Hunter Castenberry.
Yeah.
I got Cummings, De La Pena over Brooks, Davis over Reese Rodriguez. But I think that's going to be that ticket round match. It's going to be really exciting.
I do too. That's one I was looking at, and Davis, like I said, a returning state qualifier, 35-1. But I don't know. There's a lot of sickness going around. He just looked a little flat to me on Saturday. That's not to say he can't snap out of it, but if he is not feeling well, maybe dinged up or something, then that definitely gives Reese a chance. Is that just another brother of the Hammond Morton?
Yep. Dad Ruben, shout out. He likes to watch the show.
Yeah,
yes. He's always retweeting and commenting on us, and I know they're always at the IPOs, so definitely a supporter. So yeah.
That bottom quarter bracket, I think that's going to be a whale of a ticket round too. Dembowski's a battle tested, Tournay, or I'm not sure how you pronounce it. Saw him some. He's a little buzzsaw, a little short, quick, strong kid, can get to the legs and finish. Like Mike said, 51 matches, 49 wins. No slouch, but I've got Dembowski and Davis, the two veteran guys there.
Yeah.
With Dembowski actually beating him in a mild upset. 11-8 are their rankings. 11 for Dembowski, 8 for Davis. So, but
yeah, I like Ian there too. I thought Ian wrestled really well at the DAC against De La Pena. They're both scramblers. I know they said Batoon is very flexible. Ian's a really good scrambler. If you got to see not the sectional Cummings match, Cummings pretty much dominated that, but the regional, they had some really good scrambles. So I got Ian to the finals here. Who did you have in the top final?
I've got Cummings, De La Pena, Davis, Dembowski, Cummings, and Dembowski in the finals, and Cummings the champ.
All right, then I'm gonna do the opposite of you. I'm gonna go De La Pena. I like both those guys. Obviously, I like Carl and Sue, and I like Paul. That's going to be a tough one. Those guys, I know those guys are, been pretty excited for that. Those guys are guys that look for matches. The only saving grace for me at 26 there is out at Evansville. I think 1 and 2, Graham and Mulkey are on the same side too. So, it's not going to be a Friday night, which is nice.
Yeah, definitely. You guys are looking over former Mets first baseman Keith Hernandez, though.
Yes. And the mustache.
Yes.
Who does Keith Hernandez? Oh, you got Ian. Yeah, I mean Keith's tough. He once dated Elaine, so.
Yeah, I did. I was waiting for that one.
Not a lot of Seinfeld guys here. Okay.
Moving on, 132.
Back to the left.
Another pretty good weight class. I got a few munchkins running around here. Jack Tolan returning 6th place finisher. Probably highlights that weight class. Miguel Prada has been ranked. Jeremiah Wrights turning up. He's pretty good. You got Manzona. I like that name.
Yes.
We might change Rocco's name to Manzona.
Nah, Rocco's good.
Yeah, Manzona versus David Taylor though. Manzona's from Ohio, so is David Taylor. So.
Isn't a Manzona like when you fold a pizza together with the cheese and all the Italian dishes?
Yeah, and Manzona is from around the same area that David Taylor went to school, at least from what I've heard. So
same area as who? You kind of cut out on me.
Who David Taylor was from. I know that the word on the street is how we kind of learned about him was some people at the Graham camp said he was working at, living there, whatever you want to call it, training. So, so he might know David Taylor. Anyway, it's a bad joke. Anyway, should be a pretty good weight class. Looks like all the better guys got separated fairly well. Yeah,
that's what it looks to me, is that there's a ranked guy in each quarter bracket, and I like those 4 ranked guys to make it through. It's almost a there's a pretty good tier here where Tolan's the strongest in the top quarter. Prado probably the strongest in the second quarter bracket. Portage Kid, another Portage Kid, 9 losses, but tough as nails. I think Jeremiah's the clear class here. I think he's wiped out pretty much everyone on the list by tech or major at least. And then Manzona's the kind of the wild card. Hadn't seen a lot of these other guys yet. His one loss, I think, is to the Yorktown kid at Team State.
Yep.
But he's super quick, good technician. Just hasn't been in a lot of big matches with 18-year-old seniors. That's probably where he would fall short if he is going to fall short. But he could surprise us. Who knows?
He's definitely explosive. He's really good on his feet.
What's with all these guys in this weight class having lost to Fort Wayne guys?
Oh. What did Jeremiah lose to?
Well, other than him, Tolan lost to Gimson. Prada lost to Standridge. And
Bryant
lost to Hunt. I mean, those guys wouldn't even qualify out of Fort Wayne. Man, it's so weak in the region. You guys should just close up shop wrestling. I had to throw that out there.
Fort Wayne, the Logansport of the state series.
Oh.
No, hey, shout out to Mud Flap, Indiana Mud Flap. I don't mean that. Sorry.
Man, shots are being fired all over here.
They so I think this Jack Tolan, Yars, man, they told me how to say it too. Azor Ursi is Swahili.
Nursery.
Yep. They told me it was Swahili. So
that should be a good match, shouldn't it?
Yeah, he's really tough. He holds position really well. I would be willing to bet that's like a 3-1, 1-0 type match. Ursi holds very good, but Ursi and Resner should be pretty good. I got Prado over Watson.
Yep, me too.
Prado beat Tolan last time they wrestled at the DAC.
Yeah, I see that 6'5". Yep.
Jeremiah. I got Jeremiah all the way to the finals.
Yeah, I didn't know who to pick in that court or that first round underneath Jeremiah. I went with the New Prairie guy because I like New Prairie's coach.
Oh yeah. I don't. Clayton King looked good. I haven't seen Rossville. I'm not gonna lie.
Rossville though has had 3 or 4 kids qualify. That's got to be a high for them. That's a school 200 kids or so. So they're doing something right down there.
So we got a couple of Division I guys here. We got Duke.
Coleman.
I got Prado to the finals for Portage. I think Portage is kind of clicking on all cylinders right now.
I do too. I've got Prado and Wrights in the finals. Then I've got Bryant over Tolan for 3rd and 4th there. But that could probably go either way.
Yeah,
you're upset there.
That's that could be a tough draw for a semi-state Friday night.
Who's that? Manzona for if he's 4th or Tolan. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know what the other 132 brackets like. Obviously, Fort Wayne is tougher nails. So
toughest 132 bracket in the entire state. But I think the top 4 guys in all of them, Kyle Louigs. Was it Louigs?
Yeah, Louigs. Yes.
Christian Hunt and Braden Bailey. So that could be a really tough 4, possibly medalists Friday night.
Right.
Definitely. So, yeah, should be a good weight class. I was looking that first round, that top bracket. Ursery did beat Risner 4-2 at the Al Smith too. So that'd be a good match. Moving on, 138.
Just to kind of go back, if you guys watch the show regularly, Ursery was my Maryville click to pick, the Maldonado special. 5 shows ago.
Who's the guy from like 2007 that you based that?
Keon Jones.
Keon, yeah, K-E-O.
Keon Jones.
Yes.
Running like 10 losses to the semifinals and losing a double OT on a full Nelson. Hey, that's Maldonado magic. And then you know what they did? They just brought in more Maldonados to create more magic.
Yep.
David wasn't enough. Now they got Bobby Joe, Timmy, Paul.
Whose son is Jacob, the 106?
That's 113. That's David's actual son.
Oh, okay. So
yes, he has a nephew on the team also, Juan. But when they cut down, Juan was a little undersized for 13, so I don't think he could beat Cruz. So they're going to be all right down the road. We'll talk about that another day.
At the recap show, you're going to make your pick for next year. Who's the Maldonado random Maryville kid that's going to show up in the state semis?
My favorite post of the year, I haven't even posted yet this year, Who's going to be the next JV guy to break out? It might be Juan Maldonado. Wait for the after show, guys.
Okay. You're already placing that. You're telling everyone your secrets there.
We have to tune in.
Moving on, 138 should be a pretty darn good weight class. Rump versus Black, 26. I think there might be more Rump versus Black matches than there are presidents. Should be another good one. I guess they're probably heavy favorites to meet up with each other. There's some good matches sprinkled in there. I'll let you guys talk about them.
Yeah, those guys, and luckily, not to plug who I'm doing broadcast with, but Region Sports was able to clip that match and let everyone see it for the sectional. Those guys go at it. Those guys are two guys that really are explosive and put a lot of points up. Not last time, but I think those guys are both guys we could see under the lights, and I think that would be great for everyone.
Yeah, that'd be a fun match to see under the lights because they usually let it fly, and it could be a 18-17 match, and no one really knows the score.
Yeah,
kind of reminds me of like the Kovac Lawrence rivalry of the last year, and there's some region rivalries that go back. I'm sure Mike knows a lot better, but these ones where they're so close in proximity, either the same conference or they're in the same tournaments. They see each other multiple times each year, and this is just one of those great things that we're treated to. Someplace a lot of times down south, maybe, or even over towards Fort Wayne, you don't see a Yorktown versus Carroll, but maybe once a year you're not going to get that type of stuff that you get in the region.
Yeah, Portage and Hobart's had some really good rivalries over the years. I think that they kind of butt up to each other, and they've had some everyone always says Ramos and Bradbury. I think those guys were a little bit closer, similar in style, where this is more, Brendan would be the McGill and Rumpf would be the Cosgrove, or, Brendan would be the Kovac, who's, really good on top, very solid, and Rumpf would be the Bam, who's really explosive, can score a ton of points as quick as anybody in the state. He's as fast as anyone I've seen, and his wrestling time is so short, it's crazy how good that the Portage coaching staff has got these guys. A Chris Rumpf, who last year we were talking – I was calling a Friday night upset over Malloy, and people were telling me I was crazy. Now they're talking about this kid possibly a state champ.
Yeah, definitely. And even if you look at it at the Super 32, Rump went as deep as Paul Conrath in the same weight class. They both got eliminated like a round before placing or round or two. They won as far in the tournament, which is pretty impressive when you think of the resume that someone like Paul Conrath has, who's been on the national scene since he was about 4.
I'm not a recruiter for a college, but I think that, I don't think he's committed anywhere. And you want some guy that can be really explosive that you can really help mold.
Yeah, he has a pretty high ceiling there. How do you guys see this weight shaking out?
Well, if you look at it, the top quarter and bottom quarter both have a couple of state ranked guys, so that's obviously a death draw for probably, at least in my estimation, that Rumpf will beat Trace Manspeaker there, but Manspeaker's ranked 7th and is battle tested, and I'm guessing the Penn staff is going to have a plan together to try to slow down Rumpf and give Trace a chance to win that. That's just the way they go about business, do a great job of that.
That's a rematch of the Al Smith finals in the ticket round.
Yes.
Which, yeah. And then in the bottom half is another rematch. I think Graham Calhoun, a highly touted freshman from Plymouth, is ranked 16th and just behind Cody Crary from Munster, who the Crary brothers have been on the scene for a while. I think Crary beat him maybe by 2 or 3 earlier in the year. I was real impressed with the poise that Calhoun showed this past weekend. Like I said, I was talking to Mike earlier, won a 1-0 match against Manspeaker, and just was really impressive in how he went about that. So one guy's going to go home there, state ranked guy, and one guy in the tops. But I like Rumpf and Calhoun coming through. My guess is, and then in the other two, I like Black over the 40-1 Quasi-Barth.
Yeah, tough draw for North White there.
Yeah, tough draw there. And then Laplace and Griggs are who I had in the other ticket round. That's probably you can throw a blanket over them, pick them. I went with Laplace, probably a little bit of a homer call there, but probably should be another great ticket round match right there.
Yeah, I went with Rump over Man Speaker. I have Black over Cousin Breast. That's my final. I'm excited. I hope that everyone that's watching this that's going to be at East Chicago is as excited as I am, because that's a match that if you don't – I showed my buddy who doesn't watch wrestling. He's a basketball guy. I showed him 2 matches. I showed him Chad Red, Nick Lee, and I showed him Rump Black at the sectional. And he's like, that's great. I didn't show him like the 1-0 heavyweight match. I showed him like these 2 matches. He's like, that's what wrestling is, man. That's great. I would love to do that. So
right.
Hopefully I got his kid locked in.
Nice.
But I went with Cody Crary over Graham Calhoun. I think that's a toss-up. I think Graham's been on the scene for a long time. Like, if you follow ISWA results, you know, I'm not giving him the plug, Joe. Don't change my picture. But I think Graham has been in the mix for titles forever. I wouldn't be shocked if Graham knocked that one out. Obviously, you know, I think Cody's had some injuries through the year. I know he sat some matches. And I'm going to go with Aaron Griggs actually beat Jake Buford at the DAC. So I got Griggs over Buford. It's my first 4/1. And Laplace is another kid that's been on the scene for a long time. You know, I think Nick called him the next Tommy Forte in one show. I'm going to go with Griggs over Laplace as a homer pick. I just think, you know, Maryville's got it going, man.
Yep. Sounds good. I know.
I got 4 from Calumet going there. Sorry, guys. I'm doing it as I go.
Nice.
Yeah, I went Black, Rump, Calhoun, Laplace. Like Mike said, I'm probably a little bit of a homer, 2 Rochester regional guys for me. But I think in both cases, they're probably pick'ems in both matches. So those are great ticket rounds. That's why the ticket round's the best round, is because 3 out of the 4 matches here should be just awesome matches. And who knows, you know, you get a kid out of North White, 40-1. You never know.
Yep. He's obviously found 40 guys he could beat, and I mean, you can't overlook anyone at this level, because we've all been coaching and seeing enough that crazy things happen at semi-state. And
Jake's been on the scene. He's been to semi-state. You know, he's been there, and it's just that's an unfortunate draw. Like Stephen Beating Party from Chesterton was a regional champ last year at 126 pounds. That's an unfortunate draw. He's about 5'2", and he loves to throw. So I just think Brennan's a different beast. Shout out to the Gorillas.
Right.
Moving on, 145. A lot of good matches here also. Obviously, this is the region, so we have lots of great matches. Hensley versus Crary should be a pretty solid one. I don't believe – did they wrestle at the L. Smith?
I don't think Hensley was in the bracket at the L.
No, he was – okay. He was not. I thought –
and
Crary – I know one person he lost to there.
Yeah.
But
I don't think
he lost to Blake Webb, too.
Who was the other loss he had there?
Blake Webb, right? Bloomington South.
Webb. Okay. I was thinking there's somebody else he lost to there that I was trying to think of. Anyway, you get the highlight here is probably runner-up Casper McIntosh. Had 1 loss, and it was a 4-2, 4-3 match.
5-3.
5-3 to
Bratton Lee.
Some Bratton Lee-ish.
Bratton.
I don't know. Somebody else. But anyway, I'll let you guys go ahead and tell us your splendid picks here.
Yeah. Just to kind of highlight in the first round, you have number 10 in the state, number 11 state first match. Mario Trefacante from Crown Point, 3 losses. I know he lost to Brayton. He lost to Hoover once, and he lost to McIntosh and Malik Hoover, who they've split now. First match of the semi-state. So that's kind of the depth that usually happens at East Chicago, which is always exciting. I got Casper advancing over Gavin Banks. Plymouth really that Plymouth, I think they used to be the kind of the secondary region sectional to the the South Bend sectional, but I think they're really going to allow Plymouth and, like you said, Wawasee. Those guys are really doing a lot. 31-4. Gavin Banks is tough, but I got Casper there. Back-to-back overtime wins. Beat Dante Colza in overtime. Last week he beat Jason Curry in overtime. So I think I'm going to go with 4 from Calumet Regional again. I guess I'm a homer also.
I've got 3 out of 4 from Calumet. I think I talked to a couple people. I asked the question after Al Smith, what happened to the Curry brothers, and they did not have obviously a good couple days there. But recent results here, sectional and regional, it seems like they found their groove and are rocking and rolling right now. So I've got Crary in the top quarter, Dante Colza in the second quarter bracket, Hobart kid, I think. Yep. From Crown Point, that's a like Mike said, it's a pick 'em there. And then McIntosh, I think, even though he's won overtime matches, you got to go with Casper to win this, and I've got him beating Crary with Traficante third and Coles fourth. It's my top 4 in this bracket.
Yeah,
pretty evenly matched.
And I think Mario kind of touched on that. I know I went with Malik Hoover, but Mario was a semi-state qualifier last year at 170 and came all the way down to 45. And he's a grinder. That kid grinds. I mean, he wrestled Arnie at Team State.
Yep.
I mean, Joe's kind of seen him. I just said he's like
I've seen a lot.
Joe's like, that's not the kid I thought that kid was going to be. I said, no, that kid's cut a lot of. I don't know if he was an undersized 170. I don't know how much he's cutting, but he's a grinder. He's going to be in your face for 6 minutes.
Yeah, he beat Hoover 6-1 at the Dudeland, so should be another good match there. I mean, a lot of good kids here. Looks like everything was separated fairly well, which is always, it's always things, you look at, you start getting you pull up the brackets and you go through them and you just cringe at some of the draws. I mean, obviously 120, you're going to get that no matter what, but things like that, you just, ooh, but that everyone, looks like the 4 best guys kind of got separated there. Moving on, 152.
52.
Kyle Hatch Sloth Show.
The Sleuth, or is it Sloth?
Sloth.
I didn't know. How did they want it at the Al Smith? Was it Sloth or Sleuth?
And after he won his ISWA titles.
Yeah.
So this should be pretty
Yeah,
good.
this should be a fun bracket here. I like a lot of these guys. You got a good combination of high energy, big scores. Clayton Jones, we faced him, our kid at Culver last year. Faced him twice, once at McKee and then once in semi-state. And I mean, if you want to roll with him, he'll put up some points with you and have a shootout. So he's fun to watch. The Lichtenberger, if I remember right, those guys are grinders.
Yeah, so that kid's a horse, man.
Those guys, that'll be an interesting matchup. You got Cassius Breathitt, who's as fun to watch as anyone in the state. That match he had with Hatch in the finals, Rochester, probably Demeen and Alexander was great, and that was probably the second best match, Hatch and Breathitt. So you got him, and then a Portage kid, 11 loss Portage kid. I'm guessing he's just a tough ass kid that's not going to back down. Yeah.
Need to get the beep route.
That's right.
Uh-oh.
And then I don't know.
Finally, I was waiting for someone to say a swear word. Now let's just open the floodgates. I love the
That's right.
You just see Mike on when we were talking before or after, man.
Trump. I tell it like it is.
You're gonna get us booed. They're gonna start dropping like thumbs down on us.
At least this isn't like the Facebook Live ones where they have like the thumb, you can like it and people commenting. We'd be in trouble. Maybe
I've got Jones and Breathitt in that top semifinal. That is going to be lights out, fun to watch. That match. And then I've got Hatch and Lamore in the bottom. I don't know much about the Lamore. I haven't seen Crown Point this year, but he's got one loss, so that should be good. Hatch has just been there, done that. I like the way he's wrestling this year. That's who I've got in the finals.
Yeah, I have it. Matt Burns was a state qualifier last year at 52 also for Hobart. But I have Lamore over him. I have Hatch advancing over Romeo Hoover, Malik's older brother. I have Hatch to the finals. This is a Portage kid that I think that a lot of people have been telling me, like, when he puts it together, like, he's going to be the real deal. And you see flashes and you're like, man, this kid is really good. But he still has those moments like you're like kind of scratching your head like, why did he do that? I don't know if he beats Cassius here. I think Cassius, they come to the Trikoff. My brother only goes about 3 meets a year, and Tony was like, yeah, that kid's the real deal, without ever seeing him. Like, I was like, who? And then usually if he says a kid's the real deal, he's pretty good at picking kids out. I got Cassius there. I'm going to go with the slide upset. I got Greg Lichtenberger over Clayton Jones. I'm going to go with Clay Jones. I didn't write it down. I'm going to go with Clay Jones. But Lichtenberger is really good on his feet, and those kids are thick for the weight class. Shout out to the Indiana Mud Flap. I know he's a Lafayette Jeff supporter. I've seen him creeping out on the Facebook today, and on the Facebook with the forum. You know, it's getting tournament time when the Mud Flap's out.
You gotta support his crews out of the the Berries.
Yeah. Is he a Logansport? I thought it was a Jeff guy.
Oh, he's a Jeff guy for
regional.
Oh, okay.
Jeff guy, yeah.
He takes all those guys under his wing. He's a great guy.
Yeah. I heard he's growing the Indiana Mud Flap. I heard that old boy last year from Iowa stole his thunder.
Sammy.
That was his, Sammy. Sammy stole his thunder.
Yes. Nice. So obviously Hatch is the favorite here to win. How do you guys see this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I've got Hatch 1, Breath at 2, and I've got Jones over Lamore for 3rd and 4th.
I got Lamore 3rd, but yeah, I got Hatch over Breathitt. No Calumet. I went back-to-back Calumet 4s. Now I'm going with looks like a lot of Rochester.
No Ted Nugent.
Going a little Michiana.
Motor City Madman, Ted Nugent.
Moving on up. We're actually moving fairly fast. We're at 160.
Do you want us to slow it down and give more in-depth?
We're good. We're doing good. We're keeping a good pace. A lot of good matches here. A lot of guys that, I'm just looking over the bracket really kind of for the first time, just seeing names that popping out. You got Miles Krins at 51-0. Definitely
Prince.
Is Prince Krins. Obviously, he overcame the 12th seed he got at sectional and, and has advanced as far.
I don't think we've ever got to talk about that. I talked about that a little bit Saturday. So our state commissioner did that seating. That's pretty exciting.
Oh yes, I could only imagine if I went to our sectional seating meeting and Falcons was sitting there, and I'm sure all the coaches were probably had to wipe their butts after that.
Falcons is my boy. I hope he's at East Chicago again.
Yeah, he probably will be. Probably sitting right beside you. Say, hey, I want to go see my buddy Mike.
He didn't want to get on the mic with me. I wanted to get an interview with them on Region Sports, as I wreck IndianaMat every single time.
Nice.
He was laying low.
Yeah, he's like 6'4". How can he lay low? He's like one of the tallest guys there. It's like Donnie Kreider.
Robert Falcon.
Wait till we get to Big Don.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Donnie. Falcons he was at Al Smith, and I saw him walking in. I was like, oh no, it's over. Nothing to see here. So he's like, nah, I know you're kidding me. So pretty good weight class at 160.
Yeah, very similar to one of those we were talking about earlier. It looks like the ranked kids are separated by the quarter brackets pretty well there. In the top half, I've got Krentz, and honestly, in that second one, didn't know really who to go with. I went with the Lucero over the freshman from South Bend Riley, who's rapidly improving. And then Diego, I'm assuming he was injured earlier in the year. But
I think he might be a little banged up still. He's got his shoulder wrapped. He had a little skin funk at the Al Smith.
And he seems to be, although he had a conference where he beat Cash, Oscar, 7-6, and then separated himself a little bit at regional, beating him by 5. So he seems to be rolling right now. So I got him in the second quarter bracket, and then him to the finals there. Lemley over Krentz in the top half.
Yeah. In the first round, Michael Bolin, Culver Academy. I've seen him a little bit at Team State. I thought he looked pretty good. How did he look at the regional?
He got beat by the freshman from Riley, the Atkins kid, who, like I said, is like a lot of Riley kids, is going to be athletic, going to throw, going to go upper body. Bolin's a strong kid. He's his dad works at the academy, so he's been in the community, played middle school football for the Culver community. So he's friends with a lot of guys, and he's a strong kid. Holds position well. This hadn't been in a lot of big matches yet, so this is his first trip to semi-state. Hope for the best for him.
Yeah, I have it similar. I have it Krentz over Lucero. I have it Lemley over Guerrero. And not to like be like, oh man, me and Porter are so tight, because those guys, mostly Kyle, gives me a lot of grief. But that's another guy. Like if he puts it together, like that's a medalist. Drake Guerrero, he was a middle school state champ. It's just about putting it together for him. Sometimes he looks ridiculous. Like this kid should be ranked top 5. And then sometimes you see him, you're like, man, like what happened there? Like the DIC, I think, was one of those meets. I was like, man, he really didn't have a very good day. But I think that if he shows up, he can wrestle with anybody. But I'm going to go with Diego. Diego to the finals. I agree with you there.
Bottom half, I've got Calhoun from Plymouth, the older Calhoun, senior, and Lichtenberger, other brother from Valpo. And I've got Calhoun winning that match. And then Guarnero from Hobart.
Yes. Yep.
And Oscar in the bottom quarter bracket, with Oscar and Calhoun meeting up. I'm a real big Micah Calhoun fan. He's tough to wrestle. He's very long, tough to take down. He'll get you in breakdown position, slide a leg around, and end up scoring on you. And he's got to be one of the taller 160s around. He's also a scratch golfer, so I don't know how many top medalists we've ever had that have been scratch golfers, state finalists. So Micah Calhoun is who I've got, actually, in somewhat of an upset here, winning the whole bracket over Lemley.
Oh, nice. I went on the bottom. I haven't seen Ethan Atkins. They said he's an athlete. And Mike Lichtenberger is also an athlete. So if you want to see a couple athletes get at it, first round, check that one out. I have Micah Calhoun, 40-1. Only losses to Elkhart. I can't think of his name. Now he's a Fort Wayne guy. He used to be
Goring.
Yeah, Goring. He bumped up and wrestled Goring and lost that one. Tough draw for Angelo Guarnero. Rodney Hurley's pretty good also as a sophomore. But I got Angelo.
Hurley injury defaulted at the finals. I don't know. He had some sore ribs. I think he got it wasn't an illegal slam, but he got slammed and injury defaulted. So,
yeah, I got Angelo over Rockney, and then Oscar. Oscar's a different type of animal. I don't want to say Drew Hughes-esque on top, because there's only one Drew Hughes, but he's very good with the legs. He's really he's a really good scrambler. So state qualifier. I got Oscar to the finals. I wouldn't be shocked if I see Miles Krentz in the finals. I think he's a really good cradler. He's only a cradle away from getting there, but I'm going to go with Lemley Cash 4, and I'm going to go with Lemley for the title.
Sounds good.
Who'd you have winning? You had Calhoun winning?
I have Calhoun, yeah. Yep.
Moving up, 170. Highlighted. We got some really good matches coming here. Unfortunately, a couple guys are going to be knocked out that are state level. Looks like the Fator Tavante Malone match. Malone's a 2-time qualifier, I believe. Fator.
Yep. Fireworks.
Yep, that's going to be a good one. Did they wrestle at the L. Smith?
I don't believe so. They both lost to Panola.
Panola, right. The giant killer.
The breakout. That was the breakout.
Right.
As quoted by IndianaMat article, the highest move up in the rankings in the history of the rankings.
We're just going to make that up because
it could be. I mean, he went from unranked watch list to number 3 and hasn't lost since.
Yeah.
You've got second, third, fourth, and fifth here from the Al Smith, and one of them is going to go home. Like I said, like Joe said, Vittori and Malone. Vittori just seems to be just hot right now. I mean, and Malone has been back and forth with Swank, and Swank's gotten the better of him the last couple of weeks. Saw a little break maybe last week where Swank beat him, I think 11-5 in the finals, and so that made me pick Fator in the ticket round there between two top 10 kids, and then you've got the bottom quarter bracket. You got the Clay kid, Amir Dozier, who got a dream draw there. I don't know the other. I picked Brad Groover just because it was a cool name.
That's how I do it, rankings.
Yeah.
I
think Dozier's got a great chance to qualify there. I think he's Clay's only semi-state qualifiers, so he's working one-on-one with a state champ coach in Adam O'Neill, and it looks like he's been injured or just coming back with only 23 matches. I like that improvement for Dozier there in the bottom half. So I've got Fator beating him to get to the finals in the bottom half of the bracket.
Chad, wasn't there a Dozier that was like a heavyweight for them a few years ago?
Clifford, I believe, was undersized heavy, like a 225.
Well, but it was Riley, right? That Dozier was at Riley.
Right. But South Bend's open enrollment, so they could be brothers and going to different schools.
The bold Dozier.
Bold Dozier, yeah.
I remember Chad's great nicknames there. So how do you guys see this one? You up top, Ishmael Corneo, another tough.
Go ahead there, Mike. I don't know much about the Chesterton kid and Portage kid. That's who I picked. I'll see what you want to say about them.
Cade, I keep telling Chesterton families that I want to move there because all their kids are growing. Cade was a semi-state qualifier last year at 45. Really good on top. Ishmael, I think he's got the better of him the last couple times. I got Ishmael. I think Ishmael also is a guy that's always right in the mix. This will be his third time qualifying for state if it holds up. I got Swank, even though he was slightly upset with his ranking. But rankings don't mean anything now, obviously. If he's 6, he's going to North Carolina State, which is better than the college I went to, and I didn't even wrestle there. I played baseball. So I got Swank to the finals over Cornejo.
I've got the same in the top. Who do you have Swank wrestling? I've got Jamari Washington. Just because is he a Hammond Gavitt kid?
You caught me off guard, Chad. I thought you were picking Jamari Washington to the finals.
No.
I said shout out to the H-Town HMD.
Or is he Gavitt kid?
Yeah, Gavitt. They've done a good job. I got Swank over Jamari Washington also. Gavitt's done a good job rebuilding. I was really impressed with them. I caught the end of the maybe the last Calumet Regional. Brings kind of a tear to my eye, but I had a shot over there from Crown Point, and Gavitt did a good job. I just think Jared Swank's been rolling.
Yeah, he's looking good. Where's the regional supposedly moving to?
Fort Wayne. No, I'm just joking.
We're gonna host 2 of them.
I heard Maryville.
I heard a similar rumor this weekend that the Rochester Regional's moving to the home of the Kingsmen. I don't know how true it is, but that's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, the house that Harper built.
Yeah.
Right. Feel bad for Tavante Malone here if he does fail to qualify. He's probably as talented as anyone. Watched a football game with him last year, and he played outside linebacker. And I'm a longtime football coach, and he's as good an outside linebacker as I've seen, and a great athlete overall. So if he doesn't make it, but Tori, like I said, seems to be really on fire right now.
Yeah, and that's gonna be a tough one early on because Randy Sneed was also a semi-state qualifier, 82, coming down a weight. He holds position really well. And I know Tavante likes to go upper body, but that's what I love about Tavante.
Yeah.
I stand by my statement from last year that Tavante might have had the best state finals match Friday night that I ever saw with Blake Jordan. That was at like 21-19.
Right.
But Fatora's looked awesome. I think he's really grown in the weight. I think he's I was worried about his conditioning at the Al Smith. I think everyone that was there kind of was surprised, but it looked like it was more nerves than it was conditioning. And he looked really good Saturday against Cornejo. I got Fator over Tavante there. I just think he's kind of rolling a little bit more. But Tavante's one throw away from being in, the finals, because I think whoever wins that Tavante Malone, Zach Fator is going to be in the finals with Swank.
I agree. I've got Swank, Fator, Cornejo, and Dozier as my top 4 there.
Oh, man. Tough break for Lucas Scott. Like, obviously, he got hurt in the match with Perez. And I thought it was an ankle. I know he's going to try to lace it up, but now you go from maybe having and not to say any draws cake, but probably an easier draw than Jared Swank first match, where he would have been maybe that Noah Perez match. I have I don't know, Garrett Fair. I'm going to go Garrett Fair from Lafayette Jefferson. I really don't know anything. I've seen Groover. I know he's pretty tough. It would be nice for River Forest. They're a small school in New Chicago. But
Fair, I just saw from they wrestled at the McKee at Rochester, and I think it was the Plymouth kid, the Colton Schuler kid, who's a solid kid himself. Beat Fair there. That's why I went away from that regional champ.
Okay, then I'll go with Groover and Dozier.
That's right.
I'm gonna go Groover. I'm gonna shout one out for the Ingots.
That's right.
Steel mill talk, fellas.
RF.
Don't let Chad make your picks for you. Jeez.
I haven't really seen enough of those guys. Chad's giving me some love. He went with Dozier. I'm going with Groover. That's how we live now.
Yeah.
Shout out Oscar Cash watching. I got the Twitter message. Drew Hugh-esque.
Moving up, 180.
Swank winning. Do you have Swank winning also or no?
Yeah, I have Swank winning, yes.
Yeah, I have Swank over Fator.
Moving up, 182. We had the second version of David Taylor. This one might be the real David Taylor, because David Taylor's wrestling 86 kilograms now. So 182 is a little bit more of his weight class.
Right.
That's a bad matchup for Lucas Davidson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2 David Taylors, folks. 2.
Yes. Very popular name in Indiana. Davison obviously looks to be the class of the field here.
Definitely.
Yes.
I've got him over Chafee there in that first quarter bracket. I've got him really rolling. He's rolled all season. I think he's seen a lot of these guys at Al Smith or in their conference, and he's been the class. So I've got him rolling to a title, semi-state title. But in the second quarter bracket, I've got Seth Jones from Lafayette Jeff and Ty John from Maryville. Could be another Keon Jones pick there. But I got Lockett winning that ticket round match and facing Davidson in the semis. That's my top bracket.
Yeah, that Lockett, I've seen some results. He's kind of up and down. He has some good wins and some bad losses and some.
Yeah, I think he's hitting his stride a little bit. I thought he had a good sectional. He wrestled Jeremy Torres tough. I think Torres just a little more seasoned for him right now. But
Torres dinged up this year, or is that?
Yeah, I think he had a knee brace on from his hip to his ankle. So I think I'm guessing it's a knee, but I'm not a doctor.
Right.
It could be a shoulder. He got me thrown off.
How will that ticket round be between Torres and Petoskey?
I got Torres. Petowski's tough, but I think Jeremy's mean, man. Jeremy's a mean kid. Like, sometimes when you got real close ones, I don't know if Petowski's as mean as Jeremy, but Petowski's tough too. That was Logan Nowak's only loss before he ran into Lucas Davison.
Torres or Petowski?
Petowski was.
That was Nowak's only loss.
Davison and Petowski.
Right.
I got Jeremy Torres advancing there over Petowski.
Then Faulkner Nowak. I've got Faulkner. Looked real sharp Saturday. Seems to be wrestling well right now.
Yeah, I like Faulkner too. He got the injury default win over Torres, so I'll have a rematch there. Obviously, he's when we're talking about holding position, he probably is one of the best kids at holding position in the area in the state. He's tough to score on. I know he used to be a thrower, but I don't see as many throws from him anymore.
No, didn't see it. Yeah, definitely playing closer to the vest. No.
Yeah, I have Faulkner and Torres in that semifinal, and Davison and Tyjon Lockett. I don't think anyone's touched in Lucas.
Yeah, I'm right in the same boat with you, top to bottom. You have Torres over Lockett, 3 over 4, or 3rd and 4th.
Yeah, I have. I think I have Torres over Faulkner.
Torres over Faulkner. Oh, so you got Torres into the finals.
Yeah, it was 2-2. I guess I jumped the gun. I'm dropping them down. Then I was corrected and told me it was 2-2, injury default. There he is. There's the man. So I got Faulkner 3rd, Lockett 4th.
Sounds like a good weight. Any other comments on 182?
No,
Shout out to Calumet Warriors, Cody Snook. I don't really know him, but Calumet got 3 semi-state kids, so I'm going to shout them all out.
Nice. Moving on up.
Kid at 95.
Yeah, he is the Fowlers have really good genes. Like, God really blessed these kids. They're athletic freaks. So if you see a big curly-headed, like half Mexican, half black kid walking around that's just shredded up, and he's 15 years old, probably 17 years old.
And he looked that way last year as a 9th grader. So
yeah, he looked that way as an 8th grader too. And they have a little brother, and they start off like little avocados. He's kind of like a little chubby guy, and then they sprout into these huge monsters.
Nice.
I was gonna say there's been at least 2 of them before AJ hasn't there?
Yeah. Well, there was 4 of them. Nathan was a ticket rounder. He lost to can't think, Timothy Buckingham. And then there was a brother between those ones, Noah, but he had tore his ankle up in football, and I think he lost in the regional. Then there was Nick, who was 5th. And then there's another brother. I think he was just a football kid, but he's like 6'3", like 240. Nah, he's not 240. He's probably like 220. And this one's 6'3", 195, and he breathes muscles. And they're really fast. And like weirdly, they're the nicest kids ever.
Everyone from Calumet I've met's all pretty nice. So
yeah, me and then the Fowlers, and everyone else is really mean. No, those kids are really nice kids. He had a tough match in the semi-state. I think Anthony Maciel is also a really good athlete. He's quarterback, so both really good athletes went out in the finals, and Maciel pulled that one out. Sometimes you got to tip your hat. Portage is, not to get off subject, I know we're talking about 95, and we usually go about an hour and a half on these. Portage does a great job of coaching guys up, and Maciel was pinned by AJ the week before, and then they kind of caught AJ in a weird position and ended up holding on for the win. It just shows like the level of coaching that those guys are at, and I think that that's good for the whole area. Right. The Maldonados and the Vegas, and you see some other teams really still out. Chesterton obviously is really good. Crown Point's always really good. So we'll get back to the bracket. Enough Calumet love for.
Someone here is pretty excited to talk about 195.
Up at the top, 2 quarterbacks, the Maceo kid you were talking about, I've got him actually getting all the way to the finals. Got him winning over Hochstetler. That'll be a probably closely contested match. Hochstetler's not going to wow you with his athleticism, but he's going to be well coached and hold position like that's so important at this time of the year. Then I wasn't sure in the second quarter bracket. I went with Ford kid from Benton Central. Just from history, Benton Central seems to have some big, strong kids. I went with him in that match, and then Nate LaFree in the next quarter bracket or the next round of 8 there from Plymouth, and he's a physical phenom too. You talk about AJ Fowler, the 2 kids I've seen from the Plymouth sectional and the Rochester regional, LaFree and Tyler Mosier from Bremen, are both just physically they look like inside linebackers for the Patriots. I mean, they're just
Well,
strong, athletic kids.
shout out to the champs, right?
Yeah. Hey, isn't Chad, I'm sure you'd know this. Isn't Bryson Ford his dad was a former Mr. Football?
Not last name Ford. I don't remember.
Okay, that's what I thought I've heard, but I'm not 100% certain on that. But
Yeah.
I heard he's pretty good, pretty big kid from what I've seen. So could be
Yeah,
obviously you're getting in the
also,
meat of these guys. Say that again, Mike.
He was a 220 last year, also, right?
I believe so.
I actually don't remember the name.
They this is a tough weight, like overall. Kyle Ramis from Crown Point's really tough. I know he's 14-8. He's had some tough losses. Hostetler's been around. I don't know where he's at size wise, but I'm trying to see if Hostetter and Maciel wrestle each other this year. I'm sure they have. They had a wrestle.
I thought I looked for it and I didn't see a matchup, but I could be wrong.
They had at the Crown Point Superdome. Maybe they hold them out.
Yeah.
But Bryson Ford, I know he's been around. I know he did a lot of summer stuff. Nick Schoonveld, Walker Brummett's a solid kid for Lake Central. I think they kind of put on the nose a little bit Saturday, which was surprising. I'm gonna go. I don't think anyone touches Andrew. I mean,
no, he's the 800-pound gorilla here.
Yeah, more at 195. I don't get as many. The whole rankings of the entire state, and I don't get as many like critiques as who should be number one as I do at 95. And they all say like Andrew Davison should be number one. And obviously, I have Tristan number one and Stewart number two. But probably more than I've ever done it, people are like, that guy is the uncrowned number one guy. So, well, they have this tournament in February and they figure it out pretty well.
Right.
Usually. Tough draw for Corrales from Maryville. He was having a nice season.
See, Maryville or Hobart?
Maryville. He's gonna have Joey Kidwell, 30-4. I know the Kidwells. There's a couple of them at.
Yeah, the younger or the older brother was a 160-pounder and was I don't know if he was the Mr. Football quarterback award winner. They do by position also. They give the Indianapolis Star does, but he was one of the top quarterbacks in the state. He's like a Doug Flutie type, like 5'9", 160, but really? We saw him actually at a camp, and he was outstanding. So I'm guessing this is his younger brother. His
brother gets to be a left tackle for him?
I guess, yeah. Fullback.
Yeah, don't let anyone touch me.
Right.
So lots of ranked kids in this weight, too. Hosteller's 20. Keegan Day and A.J. Fowler both ranked.
Yeah. I haven't seen in our conference. Again, another strong athletic kid, but probably not. Who does he have first round?
Fowler. AJ Fowler, yeah.
Get the best of him there. But that
I didn't want to sleep on a Winamac kid and then get done up like a couple years ago where boy took it to the state.
Now.
Yeah, took it to the state semifinals.
Right.
Yeah.
That Mosier Fowler match is going to be a great ticket round. It could go either way. I'm going with the senior there.
Yeah, he beat him 5-2 at Rochester, so I'm gonna go with Mosier also.
Right.
But I wouldn't be shocked if AJ pulled that out. Like that's a kid. If he gets you on your back, he's pretty strong. He could probably finish it.
Right. And then I'm going with obviously Davison to the finals there in the bottom, and Maceo to the finals in the top. And then Mosier third and Bryson Ford fourth.
Ooh. Over LaFree?
I've got him over LaFree, yeah.
Ooh, I haven't seen him. I was going with – I almost picked that as a 4 over a 1, Walker Brummett over Bryson Ford. But that just might be my region talking. Those guys are like literally 10 minutes from my house. I'm going to go Nate LaFree there. From Plymouth.
It wouldn't surprise me. Like you said, it wouldn't surprise me if Brummett is it Brummett and Ford?
Yeah, Walker Brummett and Bryson Ford.
Brummett's got some solid results out there.
And man. I'm doing this as I go, guys. I've looked at it, but
I only got 12% left on my battery.
On your computer?
Yeah.
All right, let's hustle through. I got
oh goodness.
I'm gonna go.
I could plug it in.
Yeah, that might you could.
I'm gonna go Lafree to the finals.
They do have electricity, don't they, at Culver?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Ramus to pull that out. I'm not positive. Nah, yeah, I'm gonna go Ramus. I have to look at those results. I'm sure within 3 minutes I'm gonna get a text saying Maciel beat Ramus at the Crown Point Super Duel, and I'm gonna look like an idiot.
Romulus and Ramus.
Moser third. I don't think anyone touches Andrew. I think I get the champ locked in there.
Yep. If he does, he should not have to spend a lot of time on the mat. Even I think he's that much better than the field here.
Yeah, I sat on this show last year on the state final show and said that I was waiting for him and Blake Ripel, and then it didn't happen.
Yeah.
Right.
So hopefully, I think he's just a goer. I think he's going to be tough to beat anywhere.
That's where he wrestled matches.
Yes, sir.
Should be some good.
That's why they don't just let me pick all the winners?
Nah. I'm sure your buddy Robert might let you. I don't know. Talk to him.
If he's at East Chicago, we're going to get a one-on-one interview.
Nice.
I'm going to give him one of my IndianaMat shirts. They're a little small, but we can get him to wear it. That'd be great.
I did. Was it? No, it was Bobby Cox, who I think I got.
Ramus lost a close one to Maciel at the duels. Oscar Cash with the come up. I thought it'd be Kyle Keith.
He's been slacking.
Yeah, I'm going Maciel to the state finals.
Okay. Moving up, 220. Pretty interesting weight. Lots of good, solid kids. You got Eli Picorni, William Vakalahi. Akers beat Picorni last week, so that should be another good matchup possibly. Then you got Donnie Kreider sitting there, 50-2. Probably one of the more unique body types of a 220-pounder. He's probably about 6'3", 6'4", maybe 6'5".
They told me he's 6'8".
6'8"? What?
They told me Donnie's 6'8".
Man, looks like a lurch.
Yeah, he wrestled with us at the Yorktown duels. We didn't have our 220, and he wrestled with us, and he's tough and he's funky. He's like kind of weird, just strong in some weird positions that you're not expecting, and obviously that type of height is just hard to mimic, especially in a wrestling room. I mean, it's easy to find a kid that's short. It's easy to find a kid that maybe 6 foot, but not that tall. So that's going to be an interesting matchup.
They said he's so strong.
Yeah, and he has a younger brother that's, I think, going to be the same mold, but he's
in high school now. He's the heavyweight, right?
I think he was like 95 or something, but I think he was a little. I think he wrestled anywhere from like 70 to 95 or something. He was kind of small. He was like 60, 70 this summer, I know, but he had that same. He was just a mini me of. He was maybe 6'3", but yeah, that's going to be an interesting weight class because you have some pretty good kids there.
The rank guys are separated pretty good here. I don't know a lot about the Caleb Thomas kid from Munster, but 28-5 in Munster's schedule, he's got to be solid. But Corney's who I've got picked there in that quarter bracket.
Yeah.
And then you've got another the Vakalahi brothers. The one brother last year qualified for state. This is the younger brother this year. He's ranked 18th in that second quarter bracket. I've got him and Corney moving on to the semis there in the top half.
Is he built like his brother?
Exactly like his brother.
Like big old legs, look like he can run right through a house?
Yes. Hamstrings like animals.
Does he hold position just like his brother? Like he's so hard to score on?
He does. I think he's a little bit more has a little bit more wrestling technique and 17 matches this year, so but only one loss.
Yup, killing the game right now. See that? I got so the Picorni Akers match, the sectional basically came down to that match. And Picorni had beat Akers at the DAC, and it was like 172.5 to 171. And I mean, they still had their heavyweight to go. Crown Point still had their heavyweight. And Akers really came out and took it to Picorni this time and pinned him. So I don't know how scoring goes. I don't know how many more points the heavyweight would have got, but I know they were really excited for that match for Justin. And I have Picorni advancing. I think Caleb's scrappy. He's a little kind of small for the weight, but I think Picorni is really tough. Al Smith champ. I have Picorni to the finals over Vakala High.
Yeah. In the bottom half, I've got Akers over Dilly from Wawasee, and then Kreider over another ranked guy. Kreider's number 6, and looks like Andrew Vanderwood from Maryville snuck in the state rankings there, but I like Kreider there, and that's going to be a heck of a semifinal. Akers, Kreider. I'm going with Kreider on I think it's a pick 'em, but Kreider to the finals, Picorni then beating Kreider in the finals, Akers over Vakala High in the third, fourth match.
Yeah, I have Akers over Sammy Perez, the freshman from Highland. He's a grinder. I haven't seen the Wawasee kid, but I have Akers. I think he's a really good athlete. I kind of said it on the broadcast a couple times. He's a different type of athlete. Moves really well, shoots a lot of shots, lots of offense. Donnie Kreider is so tough to wrestle. I have Donnie to the finals over Akers, but I wouldn't be shocked if Moose won that one.
Right.
But Donnie's 50-2, and I know one of his losses he bumped up and lost to Streck.
Yeah, other one I think is another heavyweight he lost to, where he bumped up. May have been the KV kid. Does that sound right?
Maybe. So I got Donnie. It's just tough to find guys like that are 6 foot tall, 6'8". If the I don't know, I'm gonna measure them up.
You bring your tape measure.
Yeah.
Make sure it's over 6 feet.
I'm gonna get a ladder. I'm gonna get on someone's shoulders, and we're gonna measure this guy up. I got Akers for third, Vakala High and I got Picorni as my champ.
Yeah, same thing.
Kreider lost to Cigarek.
Yeah, KV
kid. So 10-8 and lost to Streck 7-3. So he's bumped up for some competition, which is good. And supposedly he's going after some pin record that I don't know if I have any information on, but someone's telling him that there's a pin record for 40-some pins or whatever in the season.
Someone told me that too. Yeah. Congratulations.
I don't know. I have some records but I haven't seen a season pin record, but I would think like Angel Escobedo or Alex Versus, one of those guys might have that too.
What did Lance have?
Guy.
Yeah, Angel had like 60,000 pins. So,
oh man,
for
his career, he's going for the career or the season.
No, for the season, but I've never seen
43. Right when he was 44-0, he had 43. So did Ratnovich, right?
DJ.
Yeah, I don't know 100%. That's why someone just sent me that message, and I'm like, I don't have any of that information. So,
for some reason, the Radnovich name sticks in my mind as having the single season pin record, but that should wouldn't get any money on it.
Yeah, I don't know how well that record's been kept. I think the Matt Burns stuff I do have probably has it somewhere. I've looked through it just briefly. Escobedo had 156 pins, so for his career,
he was really good.
Yeah, and
he's still really good.
He's still probably beat everyone. If you look at that per year, that would have been about 39 a year. So he's averaging about 40 a year. So Ellis had 151, so he might have had a few too.
I thought he had 43 his senior year, but I don't know how they count in like Tech Falls and all that.
Yeah, I mean his listed here at 156, so that's pretty good number.
I heard he has a good lat drop.
Yes.
Is that true?
Possibly. Moving up, 285 pounds. Brandon Streck. Don't call me Sean, even though he's probably going to be just as good, possibly. He's pretty tough. You got Alex Faulkner, who's had a pretty good season. Going down, Isaiah McWilliams, returning third place finisher. He's undefeated. Yeah, pretty tough here. Been wire to wire number 1. You got Gio Murillo, returning state qualifier. So pretty good weight class, top to bottom, solid guys. Losses can be a little not
deceiving.
That's how the whole story. Yeah, deceiving. That's the word I'm looking for. As far as some of these guys, they've all wrestled each other. So
Gio hasn't lost to any cream puffs out there. Those 11 losses are all legit.
Yes. Yeah, he was the one with the most losses in the rankings, Mike.
He had the most losses in the rankings.
Yeah. And they wrestled a pretty good schedule. I mean, he's wrestled.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no one that you can say is a bad loss, really.
Let's see. Let's see if I can name him. Let's see how close I can get. He had Brandon Streck at the regional. He was a sectional champ. He would have had Brandon Streck at the DAC. He would have had Brandon Streck in the duel. Man, I bet he has 8 losses between the 2 Strecks the last 2 years.
Yes.
He lost to Ty Sorg at the Trikoff. He lost to Robert Samuels at the Al Smith. He lost to Alex Faulkner at the Al Smith. Listen to Michael Foster from Crown Point beat him at the Crown Point Super Duel. There's 7.
You're missing another Brandon Streck at Al Smith.
There we go. 8. Brandon Streck 4 times. That was pretty good.
And then you still have 3 more though. He has 11 losses.
I thought that.
You're forgetting one event, Team State, where he took a couple.
Ricky Samuels.
Or Ricky Clark.
Ricky Clark. Brett Henson.
Let's see where else. There's Streck another time. Foster, Samuel, Shaw. Your last one is Shaw from Belmont. Yeah.
So he's kind of been the guy. There's always a guy in a weight, and it's nothing against Gio. I think Gio's great. I think I wouldn't be shocked if Gio was in the finals. Like 100%. He beat Isaiah here at the semi-state last year. Isaiah was 4th. He show-stopped someone Friday night. I don't remember what semi-state that was from, but I heard they were really good earlier. That was Fort Wayne, Joe.
Yeah.
He beat the champ out of Fort Wayne last year. Gio beat him last year. So I wouldn't be shocked if Gio was in the finals. But there's always a guy in the rankings every year that's kind of your measuring stick guy where you can kind of see where people are at. And Gio wrestles so many people, you can kind of see where other guys fall in. It was Drake Rhodes for a year. It was, ton of people.
Yeah, usually that's a good measuring stick, and he's one of those that you look at and you can't say. I guess the Foster loss was probably a bad loss, but other than that, all those other ones are, top 5, top 6 guys, top 8 guys right now.
Yeah,
and he's wrestled Streck 26 times.
That's tough. I mean, he's going to be a heavyweight that's going to have a lot of losses on his career, and it's because he ran into Sean for 2 years and then Brandon for a year, and those guys are really good. Michael Foster's not a guy to sleep on either. He's kind of a long heavyweight, shoots a lot of shots. He's a different type of heavy. We'll start picking them. So I'll let Chad start off.
All right, top bracket. I've got Brandon Streck. I wasn't sure, I don't know if he was what his situation was last year, but he obviously has come into his own physically. He's looks real good this year. Got him and Faulkner in that top quarter bracket, and then Streck winning that. Faulkner's a smart wrestler and takes advantage of things, but Streck's not going to give him much to work with. So I like Streck there. The middle bracket here, you got Keon Williams, who beat Dan Clark from Rochester by, I think, in overtime at the McKee. I like Clark to avenge that loss and be a state qualifier for the Zebras there. McWilliams, we wrestled him. Our kid from Culver wrestled him in the semis at Rochester. He shoots a ton of knee picks, always coming forward. Tough kid. You got to take him into deep water. And Murillo Gio can. I mean, that's what you have to do with McWilliams is keep it close because he'll storm out, try to pile up points early. But Gio's that type that can hold position and not give up scores, and then he can take advantage of McWilliams late in the match. So I like Streck, Clark, McWilliams, and Murillo there with McWilliams and Streck in the finals, and McWilliams holding on to that number 1 ranking and going into with the number 1 seed down there.
Yeah, what I like about the weight right here is there's a lot of really young, not really young, but some younger heavyweights
A lot of
coming in.
juniors, yeah. Junior
Jackson
dominated.
Jr. Alex Cartwright looked awesome the first match at Crown Point. He got banged up a little bit.
He's beaten us 4 times this year, and we've gotten closer, and then he adjusts. We go back and forth. They've all been, good matches, good physical matchups.
I was disappointed he kind of got banged up. It means sophomore, he'll be back. I want to see him and Siglarik. Siglarik's a really athletic guy. Gio had a win over him. I'm going to go with Gio over Siglarik down there. And that's not to say that I think you guys have a really good heavyweight that's really athletic in there too. I wouldn't be surprised to see him knock off Siglarik. When you start matching athletes up, you're going to get some guys. I like Leighton Rodriguez, but obviously Isaiah McWilliams is a different beast. Leighton's out there doing lat drops, going for it. I like that. So I got McWilliams and Murillo. I'm going to go with McWilliams. Like I said, I think they're 1-1 against each other, or Gio's 2-1. He lost the last one at the Harvest. I got Brandon Streck up top over Faulkner. I just don't know how – if Cartwright's good to go, I wouldn't be shocked if Cartwright won that.
Yeah, no question about it. Faulkner, like I said, we actually had Faulkner in the 3rd, 4th match, had him on his back, just couldn't take advantage, and then he got us in a headlock and actually hit a Peterson on us early too. So, he's a savvy kid, but Faulkner's just a big old horse and he's tough to deal with.
This is one of those times where if Cartwright pulls out, it makes Michael Foster's draw worse. Like if Faulkner, or not Faulkner, but Cartwright pulls out, Foster moves in that 2 spot, right?
Yeah, it does.
So he'll be in there with Brandon Streck. I don't think he beats Brandon Streck.
Right.
Dan Clark looked good last year. Michael Foster's tall, legs, shoots a lot of shots, heavyweight for Crown Point.
Clark is like a poor man's Gio. He's kind of the same style, and not gonna wow you with offense, but he's not gonna make many mistakes either.
He knocked Siglarik off last year, right? That's who Siglarik got DQ'd against.
Yeah.
And then Clark had to medically forfeit to Gio, right? Wasn't that the bracket last year? I think I'm gonna go Clark there. I haven't seen Williams.
He's an undersized kid. He beat us in the finals at McKee 10-9. So, yeah, it was a lot of shots, a lot of 2 athletic big kids going after it. So it was a fun match to watch. But he's probably only weighs 230 pounds.
I like that whole forward right there. I'm gonna go with Williams. I think I had him higher in the semi-state, but I wouldn't be surprised if Manny Aguiar has been there too. I wouldn't be surprised if any of those guys. So I'm gonna go Streck, McWilliams, Streck, Murillo, Williams.
My only difference is Clark instead of Williams, and that was an overtime match at McKee early around Christmas time. So that's a pick 'em.
Yeah, that's really a pick 'em. I think Gio could be in the finals too.
Yeah.
Definitely some good matches there. If Gio does make the finals, Isaiah McWilliams is going to be a bad draw for number 2.
Yeah. McWilliams is such a physically different kid. He's only probably 5'7" or 5'8", and he's 250, 60 pounds of just muscle. So you can't really go upper body. You can't get underneath him. And he's coming constantly forward, his head in your chest, attacking your legs and staying inside on you. Tough guy to deal with.
Yeah, I feel like he wrestles a ton of heart too. I feel like he's a goer. Like when it's on the line, he's still going.
Yeah, he came into state last year as a 4 seed, made it to top 3. So he's finished 4th or 3rd, finished 4th. So obviously had a good tournament, ran into Streck in the semis, but he won 4-3 overtime, and then lost to Streck and lost to Gallagher by 1. So he's right there with everybody.
Right.
So
he's also
good kid.
Shout out to our reporters, Steve Craw and Jeremy Hines. Steve did an article on Isaiah earlier in the year that you just don't, you root for kids now like Isaiah McWilliams when you read an article and see what a great student he is, how active he is in his community. Someone you never know about someone like that earlier on. So I'm an Isaiah McWilliams fan right now.
Yeah.
I think a lot of those guys that we have the do the articles on that, you don't get to see a lot of these people. Obviously we're all in our own little areas, so you don't get to hear about you don't get to see McWilliams out. Washington doesn't, they don't get around a lot, so you don't get to see that kind of stuff. And it's not nice to, hey, you're gonna pick up some good some fans with articles like that. So definitely some great articles, and come make sure tomorrow we'll have another one on a small school that's having some success. It's always neat. I like the small schools, obviously. They have a little special place in my heart, but it's always good to hear about those schools having success. So,
Railroaders seem to have a good regional, didn't they?
Yes, they did. They got 7 out. I think that's officially the record.
Yeah.
It's always good to see those schools having success. It's always, it's refreshing, and the ones that are having it year after year is always better too. So it's not just flash in the pan type stuff. It says a lot to coaching, and, a lot of good things there. So
who you got taking the team title?
I think it's Portage running away with it. What it looks, I didn't total up my stuff, but obviously they've got the deepest. They got the Hammers up top, where I don't think Maryville and Penn or Crown Point. Chesterton's got the Hammers, but they don't. I don't know. I'm sure they have depth up and down the lineup to. Now, if they get 3 or 4 champs, though, they're probably going to be right there. But Portage, you shake it all out. To me, Portage has it probably a pretty good shot.
Portage slips up. They could. I think you could see Chesterton, with some champs. I mean, you got to look at Tolan. You look at Lemley, and then Davison's and
1% might plug in.
Okay. You look at those guys. Those guys could all be champs, and that's huge. That's huge points. With probably some pins. I mean, you could see both Davisons maybe pinning their way through the finals almost.
Yeah, I think those guys are a really good individual team. I like Maryville is going to be in the mix. There's going to be some big matches. I think Portage is the team to beat.
Yeah.
And what's scary about Maryville and Portage, in my opinion, I think they're going to be better next year. I think that they have a couple guys wrestling a little bit underweight. I think Maciel could be an 82. I think Maryville is going to graduate 220, 195. But then their backups went to the Lake County tournament, 220, and they wrestled a backup heavyweight that could make 95, and those guys will slide in their lineup next year. So they're going to be all right. Those guys are going to be really good, and that's good for the region.
Yes, I just thought overall in this semi-state, it seemed like a lot of juniors, sophomores, not senior dominated like it often is.
Yeah. I know today, the region came out heavy and saying, we're going to get 9 state champs out the semi-state, and, it could happen. I could, you never know. Obviously, there's a lot of really good kids, and I think when it comes down to it, you look at it and you see the teams that are really well coached and they're always well represented. It's not by coincidence. Portage has 14 kids there, and Maryville has a ton of kids there, and Penn has a ton of kids there, and then you start seeing some of the other programs starting to catch up. You're seeing a lot of people sending guys there, and it comes down to coaching. Yeah,
definitely. I was just looking at track wrestling had some issues. It had team points for the team state, and I'm like, and it is end up being some there's Mishawaka. I was like, how's Portage already up there?
What do you think year 2 at East Chicago, Mike? Think that have they tweak anything? I thought it ran pretty well last year. I like the space. I know some of you hardliners like the sardine effect. I'm not a big fan.
I like obviously I get one of the better seats in the house. I'm going to be right up front broadcasting. I like that. I thought they did a good job, and I think the sad thing for me is that East Chicago doesn't have the program that they did 20 years ago, 15 years ago, when they really could have had the manpower to really run it. And I think a lot of teams are throwing in to help run it there. I know Maryville helped out a lot. Obviously, Maldonado holds a lot of weight there, and I know that the dads have helped out, which I think is pretty amazing. I think they really did a good job. And I think they're open to correcting things where, I'm not on the coaching side at Maryville, where they were, they weren't really open to changing things. They kind of said, hey, this is what it is, and it is what it is. You want a cooler? Sorry, we no coolers. You want better concessions? There's a Little Caesars on the corner. I think I don't want to say it's unfair. It's one of the biggest high schools in the United States, but when I'm driving to Fort Wayne and I see how far you guys are coming, or Wawasi's coming, or Warsaw comes, and Lafayette's far. We're in the furthest corner of the state. I wish something was more centrally located, but I think it'll be good. Obviously, they have a lot of people that care, that know wrestling.
Right. I know it's always been in Fort Wayne. That's where I originally am from. Joe knows this as well. It's the semi-state's always been I think the ACAC conference has done it, or New Haven, and they've had help from 2 or 3 schools that man it. So that's not odd for semi-states to call on several schools to help run the thing.
Yeah. It's not no easy task, especially when you're looking at somewhere like the Coliseum or like down Ford Center in Evansville, where they don't get the money for the concessions, which is huge. I mean, why would you want to do it where you don't make any money and it's a lot of work? And
right. I don't want to come off as like bashing a program, so I don't want it to feel that way. I think East Chicago has 4 kids, so when I'm saying they're helping run the program, like the semi-state, it's other teams are gonna be putting it together.
Right.
Like they didn't show up to the Lake County tournament, like no notice, just kind of, hey, that's not for us today.
Yeah.
And I know, not to like date myself and say it, I'm probably the youngest guy on the show, so I guess I can say that. But I know that in 1997, 1998, 1999, 2000, 2001, East Chicago was a load. Like they were really good. They had Bobby Joe and Timmy, and they had a bunch of kids when Bill Kelly was there that if we were going to change it and people were upset, we should have probably changed it then. And maybe we could have kept the excitement rolling through that program. And I think that's one of the things when you look at like region wrestling in general, not the RWA. I think they do a good job, but there used to be a lot of teams like East Chicago that would have 4 or 5 kids that were hammers, or a couple Hammond kids here or there. And I think Gavin's doing a really good job coming back. I know Hammond High had a couple kids that were pretty solid. Morton always has a couple kids that are really solid. But you want the area to really come back as a whole and really do that. But I like it at East Chicago. It doesn't bother me. I wasn't bothered at Maryville. You just have to sit tighter. Me and Chad would be snuggled up for a whole day. How do you make friends? No, that was a serious problem, though. I bet there was over 5,000 people, and I bet that gym probably holds 4,800.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. With that, any parting shots? I know Chad's been working on the preview. Should be done soon, I'm going to assume. Soon as in Wednesday, Thursday.
Yeah, probably get writing tomorrow, and then tomorrow night, and then have it ready tomorrow night or Thursday morning.
Start getting these things done, man. I'm going to have to keep working at work. I want to read these things.
Yeah, it's a little bit of work there to do these. I know Cameron, aka Dingo Brigade's doing his. I know Dustin sent me a text. He said, I got 4 weights done in 3 hours, so I should have mine done by next Monday.
That's because he's texting too much, man.
No, him and his buddy, his one buddy, I'm not going to name names because I'll probably get a text from him because never mind. With that. Obviously, I think Chad watches a lot. I watch a lot of wrestling. Don't feel slighted by what we picked. If you feel disrespected, I'm sorry. Like, go out and do your thing. The semi-state always has a bunch of matches, and that's what makes it great, and that's what also sucks about it.
Yeah, if Mike or I are motivation for you to go out and upset a kid, I'll be glad. Put it, get in my face and say, "Ha! I showed you." I love that.
Yeah,
I've always been a underdog fan of the underdog. So, it's been kind of our role here at a small school to be the underdog. So if you're an underdog and can knock off someone you shouldn't, that's the greatest feeling in the world.
Yeah, we're just guessing. We have zero. I have zero. Chad has bigger impact than I have. I have zero impact on any of these matches. I hope that every kid goes out and does their best, and no one gets hurt, and everyone has a good time. The flaw of the state system in Indiana for me is that there's no wrestle back. So that tick around's crazy. You're going to have kids that I was 100% sure I would see in Indy next weekend that are going to go home. There's going to be matches where we're going to get a 10-page thread about a stall call that changed the direction of a match. Like that's the nature of the Indiana State tournament. Like it or love it, that's what we have. So everyone, good luck, have fun, do your thing. I see these guys a lot more than I see everyone else. I'm gonna be a little nicer. Don't yell at me.
Don't yell at me. Yeah, we'll be back tomorrow night. We'll talk Newcastle semi-state because we're gonna say the best, Fort Wayne for last. I know we're gonna give Mike the night off. We have some pretty good guests coming in, fan favorites to say the least. So I know Mike's gonna probably be tuning in, watching and
Fast Eddie.
Yeah, we didn't have any good quotes tonight. Like our goal is to score more points. That's a good strategy to have. So maybe we'll get some out tomorrow night. Nick's just full of great quotes and great strategies. So
I know I felt like my zaniness wasn't up enough.
Yeah.
Well, you don't have any cats around here to get on your lap or anything.
My daughter's dressed up like a cheetah or something. She keeps coming over here.
Nice. So anyway, thank you.
And I never taught the fat blanket move either, so that's a win for a Nick right there.
I hope that he didn't give away Ricky Clark's secret moves.
Nice. So with that, we will let you guys go. See you tomorrow night.
Bye.